What was a tradition in your house when you were a child that you thought everyone did, but have since found out was weird unique? My mom throws water on our first day of school. Like, we would walk through the door on the first day of school, and she would throw water from a cup into the lawn. She's Yugoslavian, and it's apparently a tradition from her youth. It supposedly symbolizes cleansing you from your past. I thought it was normal until my older brother pointed out when he graduated high school that no one else does this. I wrote that she still does this because I'm in grad school. I don't live with my parents, but my mom apparently still does it at the beginning of September even if I'm not there. I love my mom. I'm a Turkish guy who lives in Australia and my mum always did this before we went away on a trip or on our first day of the school year. It was supposed to mean good luck, a fresh start. I didn't realize this was an Eastern European thing until much later. Toilet cozies, basically, clothing for your toilet. I grew up with them and had to change the toilet every time I cleaned our hall bathroom. In college I was shopping with a friend about to buy my own toilet cozies, when my friend said, why would you put that on your toilet? Won't it just collect germs and bacteria? I thought about it for a moment and was genuinely mortified. My mother-in-law does this and I just hate it. Every Easter egg me or my sister have ever eaten have been broken open on our heads. I only found out this was strange when I went to university and 3 of my flatmates stared at me as I placed a chocolate egg on the table, then slammed my forehead into it. Happy Easter Legroom 2368. Hope you enjoy your, oh god. Every New Year's my dad buys a cabbage and it's sort of like this good luck ritual for him to dance around the house with it and peel pieces off and place them on things for good luck. We'd all take turns dancing with it. I remember talking to a friend in elementary school about dancing with the cabbage for New Year's and them thinking it was extremely odd. The other posts are like, we locked the bathroom doors or we dipped our finger in the food. This is the first actual weird thing I've read in this thread. Your dad is quirky. My sister married a Norwegian man and moved to Oslo. We visited her last year during the stay. Her husband's family threw a birthday party for him. They tied a string to the presents and hid them under the bed. The end of the string was tied to his foot. He sat on the bed and kicked his foot while everyone chanted fish. Clearly we were lost. My sister explained it's a Norwegian custom. Her mother-in-law laughed and said in English for our benefit, no it's not. We're just a weird family. My sister was shocked. Are you kidding me? We've done this for every birthday since I've been here. Sometimes people are just crazy. Yeah, that's definitely not a Norwegian custom. We don't have any particular birthday customs other than the gruesome pain that is being sung birthday songs too. When we came home from school, my sister and I had to run a lap around our neighborhood. I had no idea other kids never did this and it exclusively was used to get my sister and I to burn energy so my mom didn't have to play with us as much outside. Jokes on her, being fit gave you 2 more energy. I'm a first generation Polish immigrant. Trying to explain to your friend you have the Christmas carp in the bath was eye-opening. We were never under the impression that others did this, but I have to share it as I think it was a wonderful thing my parents did. Imagine your younger years. Santa Claus is alive and well, and all you can think about is what toy you're getting for Christmas. My parents had a deal with Santa. He'd give us good presents, but we had to earn them even if we had been good. How did we earn them? My parents would booby-trap the house. Nothing lethal or harmful, of course, but we had to make it through them without awakening our parents. We never succeeded. From tripwires to scarecrows in hallways, nuts on the floor to make you slip, doors tied together, even the circuit breakers were turned off, no lights. My parents went all out. About 2 weeks before Christmas, all the flashlights and bladed objects, scissors, pocket knives, etc., mysteriously disappeared from the house. The best one was the one year I was in the lead. I had 3 siblings and was nearly to the den where the presents awaited. I spotted a tripwire across the doorway. Thinking myself clever, I moved in and snipped it with the scissors I had stashed earlier that month. This was a mistake. I look up just in time to see an old Halloween decoration flying straight at my face. Big, hairy spider. Oh how I screamed. To this day, my dad won't let me forget it. Woke the whole house up. My dad is rolling with laughter and I'm traumatized for life. Good times. D. This is some Home Alone level stuff. The Thanksgiving turkey box. We kids would decorate a big cardboard box, and my mom or grandmother, or the great turkey, for all I know, filled it up with little treats for the family. After dinner, everyone got their Thanksgiving gift. Usually the kids got their chocolate advent calendar and a coloring book or something similar. Adults got chocolates or a knick-knack. Never met another turkey box family. That's a new one on me, but I like it. My wife and I are likely hosting tea giving for the first time in several years. I might have to implement this. No kids coming. So many bottles of booze for everyone. Not so much a tradition, but my dad really has this thing for cayenne, and a container of it would always be on the table and he would put a little bit on almost everything. I also really like it and do the same thing, but apparently having a cayenne shaker on your table is weird. I found out when I was at a friend's and asked for it, and they were very confused and went and got it off the spice rack. Every time we had a thunderstorm, my brother and I would try to be the one to scream mine first after every thunderclap because our mother told us that the person who claimed the most thunder would win. In reality, she just wanted to make sure we weren't afraid of storms from a young age and manipulated us and our innate competitiveness to her advantage. I'm pretty sure I tried to play the game while at a friend's house and got in trouble for not using my indoor voice. This is freaking hilarious, hahaha. We also have a good luck tradition called stamping a white horse. When you see a white horse, say you're driving past a field, or you're watching Lord of the Rings and Shadowfax comes on screen, you have to make this series of hand motions like you're licking a stamp and putting it on an envelope. I have learned via Google that this tradition exists outside my family, but I've never actually met someone else who does it. What? We never put the cap back on the milk. Tasted fine. Turned out this was not a tradition. We just lost the cap a lot and it confounded my mother for ages. I thought it was tradition, so I kept throwing the cap away. LOL. That's a pretty good one. After we were done dyeing the Easter eggs, we would use the leftover dye and dip the tips of our cat and yellow lab's tails in the dye and color their tails. They would each have like an inch of tail dyed a teal or purple. My mother-in-law did not appreciate our first Easter together when I tried to dye her chihuahua's tail. Certain meals were just understood to be exceptions to family dinners at the table. If we were having either pizza or chili, it meant you could eat when and where you wanted, even in front of the TV. I remember going to a friend's house for dinner and we all sat around the table eating pizza, and I was thinking, weird, why are we eating pizza at the table? Once a month we would have a movie night. Not just any movie night though. We would bake treats and buy stuff that went with the movie theme. Sometimes even dressed up to or decorate. Put a big blanket out on the floor with tons of pillows and binge the treats while watching the movie. We also always had family game night on Tuesdays. We switched who picked the game every week. We also kept score for the month, and whoever won the most games got a prize. Nothing huge, usually a little ribbon or button that said first place. I really want to keep the traditions going when my daughter gets a bit older and add some more of my own. Those traditions sound amazing. My dad would put peanut butter on grilled cheese. I was very surprised when I got what I considered a half-finished grilled cheese at a friend's house. That's actually a great idea. Be right back making PB grilled cheese. Nobody is allowed to say anything until they've had 10 mouthfuls. We were all horrifically hangry except for my mum, so it was her way of stopping WW3 at the dinner table each night. This is actually really smart. Eating dinner at 8 PM. Dad worked long hours and it took forever before I realized that everybody else had already eaten dinner by 5. First time I went to a friend's house for dinner after school, I wasn't even remotely hungry. I'm currently living in Europe for school and my Midwestern stomach has been seriously challenged. My host family doesn't eat dinner until 8:39 PM, which is completely normal for them. It's about 3 hours late for me. At family dinners, one person would put their finger on their nose. As people noticed, they would do it. If you were the last one, everyone would sing "Stephen is a pig." My parents did this to teach us to pay attention to everyone at the table and not just bury your face in your plate. I would go to someone's house for dinner and was shocked they didn't play the pig game. Was always super fun to have a sibling bring a new girlfriend, boyfriend, start the round, then call her a pig. Your family sounds fun. At Christmas we would leave out biscuits and milk for Santa, but we would also leave out carrots and a bucket of water for the reindeer. That night my dad would carve sleigh marks into the lawn. A difficult job because Christmas is during summer and NZ, so the lawn would be quite hard. Eat some of the carrots and dribble some chewed up carrot into the bucket of water. He'd also get some horse poo from the paddocks and toss that around for good measure. It was so much fun waking up in the morning and checking to see if the reindeer had enjoyed their snacks. And dad would complain that Santa made marks in the lawn again. We were never told that Santa came down the chimney and we just assumed he used the front door. Sometimes dad would make dirty footprints by the front door, as if Santa had walked up to the door and taken off his dirty boots before going inside. It was elaborate, but it made Christmas morning so much fun. Some people I know left out carrots and water, but no one else's dads went to so much effort. My mom used to heat up my cereal when I was a kid, so I never noticed how gross soggy cereal tasted. I'm disgusted with myself just remembering it. The smell of heated cereal is what bothers me. It's like it's already been eaten. You can sing at the dinner table on Mondays, because Mondays are tough. I had totally forgotten this rule, and when I think about it, it sounds like the kind of thing you invent to stop someone from singing. I remember loving to sing as a kid. Heck, I still love to sing. It makes me happy. Everyone should sing. Thinking back on it, I can only conclude that I must have forced my parents' hands to make up a no singing rule to preserve their own sanity. But then they realized they could appear kind and generous by allowing singing at dinner one day a week. Sly bastards. We're going to have words next time I see them. Not so much a tradition, more like a behavior, but instantly changing into pajamas or loungewear as soon as we get home. Not pajamas, but I have what I call my comfy house clothes that I change into as soon as I get home. Usually big old t-shirts and shorts or sweatpants. My family eats together every single day at 6 p.m. You're coming into the house at 6:05, how dare you be late for dinner? I mean, when I found out people didn't have standard meal times, it was weird to me. Boy was I blown away when I found out that people didn't even eat with their families every day. Anarchy. I had no idea. My childhood was so pure. We were a 6 p.m. family, too, at 28. I wonder how my mom managed it, and imagine it isn't nearly as common as I thought it was. Heck, half the time the parking lot at work was still half full at 6 p.m. Dad would often travel up to Sydney for a week doing lawyer stuff, and when he came home on Fridays, he'd bring me a chocolate to eat after dinner, as the Friday night treat, eventually shortened to FNT. When I was about 6, I was staying at my sister and brother-in-law's flat. I hadn't seen my brother-in-law produce any chocolate yet, and as dinner was approaching I became increasingly concerned. "Dave," I asked him solemnly, "where's my FNT?" I was a very polite, shy child, and he went absolutely nuts at me for my language. Pronounce FNT aloud. You'll see where the problem lay. My family always eats Thanksgiving dinner in our pajamas. The only rule is they can't be the pajamas from the night before. They have to be clean. It's perfect because you're comfortable after eating so much, and it makes it easier to fall asleep into a food coma. I thought everyone did that until I went shopping with a friend and she asked me to help her pick out a dress for Thanksgiving. My family also has crepes on Christmas morning and Belgian waffles on Easter. No cultural reasoning behind it. We just like crepes and waffles. After singing happy birthday to anyone in the family, while whoever blew out the candles on their cake, the whole family would sing, "You are one ugly child. Who could your daddy be? If I was your daddy, I'd go jump in the sea." It was a lot of fun growing up. Realized it wasn't normal when I went to someone else's birthday celebration and yelled, "You are one ugly child," and nobody joined in. Please say you followed through with the rest of it. Cheer when a pair of boobies appeared on the TV screen. My parents found the Puritan values of the 1970s and 80s US television too uptight. Watching Schindler's List, boobs, huzzah, stunned silence. Growing up we had a communal recycling bin filled with clean socks of all shapes and sizes for all 3 kids and mom and dad to pick from. The bin was located in our dining room, so every morning there was a mad rush for everyone to find a matching pair of the good socks. When I asked why we did this, my mom would say that she lived next to a lady who claimed to have been the nanny for the Kennedys, and if it was good enough for JFK then it was good enough for us. But I'm calling bulls. She just hated to pair socks. The first time I heard one of my American friends curse in front of their parents I had a mini heart attack. Now I'm like frick that crap, this is America and I'll talk however the frick I want. I think it's an age maturity thing for most American families at this point. I'm 21 and my sister is 18, and we swear like sailors in front of our parents, but when we were little it would have ended meant mom washing our mouths out with soap. My family made crepes every Sunday morning. We are in the US, but we just called them pancakes. Regular pancakes were known to me only as fluffy pancakes, and we did not eat them at home. I didn't know that those were the standard pancakes until I was older. So, you pretty much had European mindset, where crepes are pancakes and dome cakes are American pancakes. My dad kept enough food in the house for us to survive for years. We had literal grocery store shelves in the basement. In short, he was a food hoarder. He'd grown up in and spent most of his life in a house with about 10 people and frequent guests, and never changed his shopping habits when it was just him, me and my mom. So when we ran out of, say, cereal or spaghetti, I would just go downstairs and get some more. It wasn't until college and we're out of peanut butter actually meant we're out of peanut butter, and we even had supplies for special occasions. So on someone's birthday or special occasion you didn't have to go buy it special. You'd just go up to the bookshelf full of cake and brownie mix to pick one out. Guests and even family members would always be amazed, and honestly I learned early on it was weird because people would laugh and make jokes about that movie Blast from the Past or say he was preparing for Y2K or later on, the zombie apocalypse. Honestly I feel like it didn't take me long to realize this was weird, but it took some time to adjust to, and it still bothers me how much food and money my dad wasted. Lots of it sat there for years and had to be thrown out. When I shop for myself now I rarely buy more than I can eat in a short span of time. I found a box of graham crackers in my grandma's basement once that was older than me. My family locked the door when going to the bathroom, which may seem normal until you accidentally open the door of people who were never taught this. I must have the weird family that doesn't randomly open close bathroom doors. Having spots in the den. Whenever friends and family would come over it would throw the balance off and disaster ensues. We did this but at the dinner table. We sat in the same spots for over 20 years. Now I have kids and we never sit at the same spot twice in a row. Kinda crazy. Every Christmas morning, we have a game called Christmas Gift. You sneak out of your bedroom, peering around corners to see who is up. Then you yell, "Christmas gift, Dad," or Mom, or whoever. Whoever says it first wins, and the person who gets the most wins has bragging rights. It started with just Christmas but has expanded for Christmas Eve gift, New Year's Eve gift, and New Year's gift battles too. The one year my uncle couldn't come, he sent a card for my dad, his brother, to open that said, "Christmas gift, brother." Gotcha, we all howled. When my husband spent his first Christmas with us, he was very puzzled by the game, but I transplanted it to his family's house and our niece and nephew are now devoted to playing it too. We do this with every holiday, but we use calling as a way to win too. It's easier to win with caller id. Not flushing the freaking toilet at nighttime when we took a pee. Apparently, if we didn't crap in it, we could just leave it unflushed. Unfortunately, it smelled like grandma's used diaper the next day. We always knew this was weird, but we all ask one another, "What's your favorite color today?" You have to choose a new color every day. No repeats, ever. It's to make you reflect on your day and think of a color you noticed and appreciated. Or maybe a color that represents your mood well. Sometimes I explain it as, if you could will the walls to be any one color for 24 hours, which would you choose? Along with cookies and milk for Santa, we left carrots for the reindeer. I'm still not convinced this is weird unique, but none of my friends' families did it. Hooray, I've never met anybody else that did reindeer carrots. In the morning there would always be a tiny stub of carrot left on the plate. Getting older I really felt sorry for my uncle having to snack on carrots, cookies and warm milk all in one sitting. My mom always made bread from scratch with a bread machine. None of my lunches for school ever had store-bought bread. It wasn't until I was in high school that I realized most families don't have a bread machine, or even know that they exist. I knew this was unique to my family when I was maybe around 12. On Christmas morning my mom would make cinnamon rolls and we would eat them for breakfast. That was the only day of the year we ate cinnamon rolls, ever, even as a dessert. It was really special, and when my siblings and I are home for the holidays we make sure to make the cinnamon rolls. What? We still do this. Mom makes cinnamon rolls and a breakfast casserole, but only on Christmas. I never thought of it as weird, but maybe it is. Haha. Every dinner we would say grace. My dad, mum and I would join hands. Nothing is said apart from amen at the end, even at restaurants. Doesn't sound super weird until I got a little older and realized neither of my parents is in any way religious. In my family we make sure everyone has their food, whether at a restaurant or their plate at home first. Once everyone has food, we look around somewhat making contact and just all say the word grace. I think it started more as a politeness thing to ensure everyone ate at the same time as we're not religious, but I really like it. Getting locked outside the house as a kid, like wake up, get some water and toys, and you cannot come inside till dinner. So when the street lights came on, and you freaking dare not be late. My mum used to do this too when she was sick of us wreaking havoc inside. Then she'd close the blinds so she couldn't see us begging to come in when it got too cold or wet. It probably did us good though. We did have fun exploring the paddocks and building cubbies and things. I've told this story before, but it remains. Well, you'll see. Whenever my mother would open a new jar of peanut butter, she would always call for my brother and me to have a dip before she made our sandwiches, or whatever it was that she was preparing. A dip, in this case, referred to our family practice of sticking our pinky fingers into the fresh, smooth surface of the peanut butter, after we'd washed our hands, of course. There was something very satisfying about it, in a way that made it seem like licking our fingers clean was almost entirely an afterthought, rather than being the actual purpose of the practice. Truth be told, my brother and I were a little bit too fanatical about the routine, to the point where we'd actually discuss it, sometimes at great length, whenever we became aware that our current jar of peanut butter was running low. Now, I mistakenly thought that everyone dipped into their sandwich spread when presented with the opportunity. Needless to say, that wasn't the case. This realization wound up causing me a rather profound sense of shock when my friend Alex's mother took it upon herself to make lunch for her son and me one afternoon. I watched with rapt anticipation as she opened the jar of peanut butter, removed the freshness seal, and then completely skipped asking for the assembled children to dip into it. "What are you doing?" I shrieked, seeing the woman's knife pierce the peanut butter's surface. She turned to look at me, obviously concerned. "What's wrong, Max? Is everything okay?" I stammered, unable to get the words out. "We didn't dip." The woman's worry quickly gave way to confusion. "Dip," she repeated. "What do you mean?" I did my best to describe the concept, but my 5-year-old brain was already preoccupied with a sense of mild panic. I was eventually invited to demonstrate, but I steadfastly refused. After all, the peanut butter had already been violated by the butter knife, thus rendering the entire exercise pointless. While I did manage to explain, several minutes later, what the dipping routine was supposed to involve, the situation was almost too much for me to comprehend. Some people, it seemed, simply did not dip. Were they barbarians? Didn't they understand that dipping was absolutely essential? Or was it? The next time that my mother opened a jar of peanut butter, I responded to her summons like I always did. Upon arriving, though, I held my hand back and looked her in the eye. "You know, Mom," I said, "some people don't dip their peanut butter." She was less shocked than I had been. TLDR. My friend's mother violated a jar of peanut butter before I could finger it. My grandma says she used to do this with my uncle and my mom, except with a tub of country crock margarine. She would scoop out the nipple of margarine that stuck out of a new tub and eat it right there. Grossed me out so bad. I grew up in a mixed race household. My dad was Afro-Latino and my mom is East Asian. Food was often different for us and we would mix different cultural foods together, especially around the holidays. I didn't learn that normal people didn't have a turkey, sushi, cornbread, greens and empanadas at Thanksgiving until my teens. I now celebrate a more traditional Thanksgiving most of the time, but I can't help but miss my eclectic mix. Your Thanksgiving sounds delicious. I want sushi and empanadas at my Thanksgiving. My mom and her sisters love entertaining. They are all wonderful cooks and love making elaborate feasts for family gatherings at their respective homes. These are not potluck affairs, unless they specifically asked you to bring something, like beer, ice, or a salad. It would almost be offensive to show up with a casserole. They kind of turn up their nose at potlucks, and thus I have grown up completely grossed out by the idea of a potluck meal. The first time my husband, boyfriend at the time, came to a family party, his mother insisted he bring something. He shows up at my house with banana bread and I was so confused. He says his mom said it would be rude to not bring something. I insist that it is beyond unnecessary and do not permit him to bring the banana bread inside the party. I'm still sure he was pretty taken aback at my horrified response to his kind gesture, albeit really his mom's gesture. Fast forward a few years and we get married. I have received an email from his relatives instructing me what to bring to every single family event since everything is a potluck in his family, and they feel the need to tell me what to bring rather than their actual relative, my husband. For some reason his divorced sister has never been required to bring anything, though. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.